Are you out looking for a new Honda Civic with the wife and you see in the corner of the lot a big American muscle car and you're wondering, can I ever afford a car like that?
Well, don't worry, because today we're going to be talking about the top 5 modern muscle cars that are cheaper than that Honda Civic.
I'm Noah.
And I'm Lenny.
Let's get into it. In today's day, everyone wants good MPG and they want a car that takes you from point A to point B. But what about us cold-blooded Americans who want a muscle car and want one without breaking the bank?
We'll look no further because we have compiled a list of the best modern muscle cars that are cheaper than a brand new Honda Civic.
Brand new Civic starts at around $25,000. So what if there was a bunch of muscle cars that you could pick up for less than that? During the late 60s, the muscle car era boomed bigger than ever before. But going into the 70s, due to gas prices rising, people wanted more economical vehicles. Well, in the late 2000s, the second major muscle car era began. And luckily, now that we're around 15 years later, a lot of those cars have dropped in value, and you could pick up these new awesome muscle cars for dirt cheap.
Why would you want to drive a boring old Honda Civic when you could be driving a muscle car resurrected from the 60s and 70s, brought to the modern era with a modern drivetrain that is just comfortable and awesome? So without further ado, let's get into the list.
The first car on the list is the Mustang GT. Between 2011 and 2014, you could get the V8 version that offers a 5-liter V8 that makes 420 horsepower and 390 foot-pounds of torque.
Just 1 year later in 2015, the redesign that took the world for storm was released, dubbed the S550. This was the first generation that received the glorious 5-liter Coyote that has given the Chevy LS a run for its money as far as cheap and reliable performance. And what makes this car so special is you could have gotten a 6-speed auto, but you could have also gotten a 6-speed manual. You could pick up a 2015 Mustang GT for about $20,000, and if you want to get one with higher mileage, you can get one for just under 20 grand. That's a steal.
Now, I've owned one of these Mustangs myself, and I gotta say, I love the power delivery. It's very linear power, and it revs way past 7,000. Car handles a lot better than the previous generation Mustangs due to that independent rear suspension. Mine had the Brembo brakes, so it stopped on a dime. Overall, amazing sports car, and really reminded you that you're driving a muscle car. Now, the next car on this list, you're gonna need a dock slip to park it.
Obviously, we're talking about the Dodge Challenger RT.
Now, you don't buy this car to go around turns or racetracks. You buy this car to go on a straight line, right down the highway, mash the gas pedal, and hear the bald eagles come up the exhaust.
Going back all the way to the early 70s, the first model year of the Dodge Challenger was produced in 1970, and it has kept its timeless design for the modern model years. While many automakers went to hybrids and electric cars, Dodge said, nope, we're going to build better and faster and bigger V8 engines to put in these cars. I highly recommend looking at the 2015 and later models because of the major redesign that had not happened since its retro comeback in 2008.
Now, you can get an 8-speed automatic with a 5.7-liter Hemi that makes 372 horsepower and 400 foot-pounds of torque, or you could get the 6-speed manual, which gets an extra 3 horsepower and extra 10 foot-pounds of torque. Now, this 4,100-pound 5-seater car could go from 0 to 60 in 5.1 seconds. Now, you could buy a 2015 Challenger RT for around $14,000, which is an insane price.
Now for the Challenger's bigger brother, undoubtedly the most muscliest muscle car on this list, the Dodge Charger. While the Challenger is a great option if you're anything like me and actually prefer a sedan, one of the only sedans on the market that you can actually call a muscle car is the Dodge Charger.
While it shares a lot of power numbers with the 2-door Challenger, the Charger's a wildly different design that looks amazing, and definitely my favorite of the two.
The complete redesign featured nearly all newly shaped sheet metal, new seats, new dash design, new interior tech, and much more. These are some of the most comfortable muscle cars on the market that still pack a serious punch. You could take this thing on a long road trip all the way to a drag strip with no issues. So imagine your wife wants you to get the reliable, practical Honda Civic, but you don't want to do that. You want to be cool. So what do you get? A Dodge Charger.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not picking up the Honda Civic. I'm picking up the Dodge Charger because it's cool, it's fast, it's a whole lot of fun.
So the next pick on this list is a controversial one. Some people don't call it a muscle car. It's the Chevy Corvette.
And you might be thinking to yourself, that's a sports car, which it truly is, but it's also a muscle car. And I'll tell you why. It's got a high displacement V8 that derived from a truck engine. It's fast in a straight line. And that's pretty much it. That's what a muscle car is.
And that's why it made it on this list. So let's go over the car in detail. When talking about a muscle car that's cheaper than a Honda Civic, the Chevy Corvette is an amazing option.
By the time the C6 came out, the interior saw a massive upgrade. The body lines got sharper and they finally got rid of the pop-up headlights. By 2014, the C7 came out And while that's an incredible car, it's going to be a little bit out of budget, so we're going to stick to the C6.
The base model LS3 makes 430 horsepower and 424 foot-pounds of torque, which for a base model trim is absolutely insane. And the legendary Z06 came with a 7-liter LS7, which made over 500 horsepower naturally aspirated. Now, it came with either a strong Tremec 6-speed manual or a 6-speed automatic from GM.
The best thing about the Corvette, more so than any other car on this list, is how well the Corvettes hold their value. There's always going to be a demand for a Corvette, and Chevy's putting more money than ever into developing newer and faster Corvettes. So the used aftermarket will always continue to thrive for many years to come.
While the C7 Corvettes are a little bit more money and a very good deal, the C6 is the perfect balance of affordability and performance. Now, what makes the Corvette so special, and the reason why it's on this list, is that you could pick them up for around $20,000 to $24,000, which is insane.
It's an insane price. You get a car that has a muscle car drivetrain, you got the manual transmission, you got the big displacement V8, but you got a car that actually knows how to handle. So you kind of get the best of everything.
Now, this is actually one of the cars that I'm looking to pick up in around the next 12 months because they're great deals right now, and I don't know if the prices are going to go up.
Yeah, and I think what's going to happen is going into the following years, prices will probably go up once people start realizing how much value you get for those cars. Now, if you're worried that the Corvette can't compare to the Honda Civic in terms of practicality, remember the Corvette is technically a hatchback.
So for the next and final car on this list, we have the Chevy Camaro.
And to be honest, they're kind of the same car. I mean, same engine, same transmission, same a lot of other components. Basically, they took the Corvette and said, how do we make a car that appeals to a wider audience, adds 2 seats in the back, a little more practical? That's what a Camaro is.
Now let's take a deep dive into what the Camaro SS really has to offer. With only a small production hiatus from 2003 to 2009, General Motors has sold millions of Camaros since 1967. Following the Mustang's success of bringing back that retro styling in a modern package, when the Camaro resurfaced back in 2010, it featured the classic swooping body lines that made the Camaro such a classic muscle car.
The manual SS cars got the LS3 that had 426 horsepower and 420 foot-pounds of torque. And the automatic cars got the LS3 variant called the L99 that made 400 horsepower and 410 foot-pounds of torque. These cars, including the Corvettes as well, are extremely reliable and can be safely bought with over 100,000 miles. Currently, the Camaro market is pretty strong. You could pick up a 2012, 2013 in the mid to high teens all day long. Now, if I were to rank these cars, it's got to be Corvette, then the Mustang, then the Charger, then the Camaro, and then Challenger in last place. Still like them all, but that's how I'd rank them.
I mean, they're all great cars. Easily gonna have to agree with you on the #1 place being the Corvette for sure. Then I'm probably gonna go Chevy Camaro because I'm just a Chevy guy. Then probably the Charger, then the Challenger, and then Mustang last. I'm not a Mustang guy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But regardless, let us know down in the comments how you would rate this list, because one thing's for certain, the Honda Civic will not be on this list. I know that for sure.
I think that's something we could agree upon. Thanks for watching the Endurance Warranty YouTube channel. We're the Backspeed Boys, and we'll see you in the next video.